On Citizen FM 93.7. My name is Lawrence Umotte. It's 10 minutes past 10 in the city of Abuja. Now, the civil society groups and even the non-governmental organizations in Nigeria are regarded as positive forces for change and progress in society. They often bridge the gap of alienation between governments and people. They have, over the years, been in the forefront of making our world a much better place by helping to fight injustice, environmental abuses, global health challenges, gender issues, and so many others. With the general civil society community, including faith-based organizations, professional associations, and even labor unions, volunteer groups have also done so much in the making of Nigeria. In fact, anyone who may have forgotten, the Nigerian civil society and the media led the struggle against military rule in this country and fought violently to demand a return to civilian rule. Many died in the process. Many lost their loved ones too. Hundreds of people fled into exile. So now the question is, what happened along the line? Observers believe that the passion has dwindled. The fervor is all but gone, and so many apprehensions in the public space. This has become a source of concern. The time has come for soul searching within the Nigerian civil society community. And on Insight today, we will stay with this concern on what our CSOs and perhaps NGOs have become. And no other person to discuss it than my guest today. His name is Comrade Kennedy Iyere. He is the National Convener, Civil Society Committee for Anti-Fraud Election Security. Thank you so much, Comrade Iyere, for joining us.
Thank you, my brother. How are you? Good morning.
Good morning. You can be part of this program by joining our live stream on YouTube by typing in Citizen FM, and you will be part of the show online. You can also listen to us online on www.citizenfm.ng, and not forgetting our social media platforms, which you can be part of on Facebook at Citizen FM Abuja, on Instagram at Citizen FM 937, and also on Twitter at Citizen FM 937. So that's going to be the scope of the program today. The CSOs, the NGOs, once upon a time in Nigeria, were the darling of the Nigerian people. Is that still the case today? What exactly happened? Comrade Iyere is going to help us understand a lot of how these things work. Comrade, straight on, let's go into the matter now. Let's start this way. During the military era, the CSOs were at the forefront of holding government to account. They galvanized the citizens into action on many occasions in conjunction with the media. But these days, some commentators believe those were the glorious days of the CSO. What exactly do you think happened?
Yes, my brother, thank you again for bringing me back to your studio. I've always found it joyous on my own side, being part of your conversation, especially on critical issues like this. Comrade Kennedy raised my name once again, and I'm happy because today you are really focusing on my very territory, my own territory, my own people, my own sector. We call it the social sector. The NGOs and the CSOs and the FBOs and others. Well, what happened then when the NGOs were NGOs indeed, and the CSOs were CSOs indeed, and the FBOs were FBOs indeed. What happened then was that the people who championed and led these organizations back in those years or days were driven by the selfless desire to serve the people. The selfless desire to serve the people. Serving the people without expecting to make some material benefits. That does not rule out the fact that they will not take care of their families. Don't get me wrong. You can actually still take care of your family without going extravagant, without cutting your eyes, without throwing caution to the wind in terms of living a life of opulence or affluence. Then they were driven by the passion to serve and to live up to their own name and their callings, which was what then the non-governmental organizations and the civil society groups or organizations were actually formed to do as part of the social sector. Nowadays, what drives people is what they get. I'll give you a good example. It's like you asking me what happened to the NAS of those years and the NAS of now. You remember NAS was like a CSO then. You cannot talk of how the military the military people were forced out of power without giving credence to NAS as one of the major blocks that championed that cause. That was when NAS was NAS, and not now that politicians have infiltrated the NAS of today. The same way politicians have also infiltrated the CSOs and the NGOs you have today. Most of the NGOs you have today, they are owned by the politicians themselves. They form them, create them to be used by them as at when it will be necessary. NGOs today have been turned into a platform for money making, a platform for fake seeking, and a platform for even pursuing some selfish political interests. So to answer you in one straight statement,
okay,
the difference is that between then and now, why the old days that were glorious cannot be compared to this our today that is adulterated and that has nothing, to nothing good to be desired out of it, is that then people served with a genuine intention and they had it at the back of their mind to serve humanity, which is actually the primary reason NGOs and CSOs exist. But today, people today, most of us today, because that is my sector, most of us today, we serve ourselves and serve our benefactors without serving the people.
Okay, comrade, you've really laid the background for this discussion. And the underlining factor there is that corruption has become pervasive amongst these groups. As you are, it's your community, it's your constituency, so to speak. Help us understand how pervasive is this culture of corruption amongst these groups.
I tell you, we call it, in quote, charity fraud. That is what we have today. Most of the NGOs we see today, most of the CSOs we see today. They are just, if it suffice me to say this, they are not better off than the political parties many of us condemn. Now, Are you not seeing that when a very known politician has a reason to make a statement publicly, an NGO or a CSO will just come from nowhere? And at times you even see that these CSOs and NGOs are not hungry, because a lot of them from the diaspora, from America, from the UK, where they even have access to grants, out of their greed, still work for politicians who still pay them money. The fact is that the level of corruption that has overtaken the social sector can only be compared to that you have in the political sector. I'm being frank here. I'm not saying the fact. I give you an example. Check it. Because you have easy access to money. You know, the social sector is a sector where you can have money, large chunks of money for doing nothing. When people want to cover up, they make money available. And a lot of these funders, international funders too, they are not helpful. They don't even like to put money where it will favor the people. How many NGOs or CSOs who operate in the agricultural sector, ICT sector, today are vibrant in Nigeria, are vibrant in the north, in the south, in the east, and in the west, across those sectors? A lot of our funders will not want to put in money because they don't want the people to rise. Look at the programs they sponsor, programs that have no value. Talk about elections. They'll put billions of dollars, billions of pounds, billions of euros. And I tell you now, the last election we did, if only you will allow me enough time to come back to you, I will give you the record of how much money a lot of NGOs and CSOs got.
I'm sure we'll talk about that some other time, comrade.
Now, it will shake your head that it runs into tens of billions of naira. And yet we have, we had a controversial election. Did you ever see CSOs hit the street in protest? When I use the word, what has happened to civil society situation? I'm giving you an example where you have most of the so-called frontline CSO coming together to monitor the election. Don't forget we were the one that actually prevailed on the National Assembly and on Buhari to create that law. When the law was broken by the people who regulated the law, why did those CSOs not come together in their tens and hundreds and take a stand? And that would have solved all of these problems we have today, that we have to use billions of naira to pass through this court phase. And this court phase that we are passing through, lots of billions, if not even trillions, will be lost. This money would have been deployed into the production sector, manufacturing sector, for job creation. So at the end of the day, what happens is that we take one step forward, 10 steps backward. These NGOs are corrupt. Even their funders are not helpful, because they know that they are putting their money in those projects that will not give us any headway, that will not give us any facility economically. Then why are they not funding those who are into cooperative agriculture, those who are into e-commerce? Why are they not funding them? They fund elections. How do they fund their elections? They give them millions of naira, millions of dollars as grants, millions of euros, millions of pounds. And these people do nothing. They sit in Abuja. And when television stations want to grant interview, they flash one advert in pidgin and in English, with English. And a lot of people in the rural areas will not even, who have no TV, will not get to see that. And you see At the end of the day, they will tell you so and so organization is more financing them.
Okay.
Now, why are they not focusing on empowering rural women so that they can have access to fertilizer, access to other things they need to produce what we eat today, then have money in their pocket and begin to reduce the poverty gap? They won't do that. And what they do is when they are not here, they are in Paris. We are not in Paris, they are in Washington, D.C., doing conferences that will never have any meaning. So now, before I allow you again to come up with the other question, NGO, CSO, you know, the name for it is social entrepreneurship. It has become a money-making, in fact, it spends money nowadays. Okay. Because some of them get as far as $5 million grants. They have no plan. And all this money will be spent on attending conferences, appearing on television, and then traveling from one place to the other and using the biggest hotel. What they do, I'm sorry, I must make this point. What they do is any town they visit for any meeting, they use the most expensive. They stay in hotels that you can pay as much as 50,000 per night. They don't use hotels that are not in the city center that has no name. And they meet, they spend money, and they write reports that will have no economic or social use. Oh. Now, they are being pushed into this just because they want to remain noisemakers and enriching themselves. A lot of them have choice properties in choice areas, in different cities.
Okay. Comrade, we need to move on. There are a lot of issues I want us to look at. The whole idea of the CSOs and NGOs, at least I still remember those days in the university, was volunteerism. You had activities and advocacy by people who had regular jobs. I still remember the CDs of those days, the Campaign for Democracy, the Campaign for the Defense of Human Rights, the former Dr. Beck or Ramsom Kuti, Olisa Bakuba. These were foremost people who powered the CSOs. But these days, you have a one-man CSO, you have a family of 3 CSOs and stuff like that. Is it really an impossible task to start thinking of sanitizing the whole industry?
Yes, they are not, like you said, they are not regulated. If you look at the CLO of those days, CHDR, Committee for the Defense, CDHR, Committee for the Defense of Human Rights, not like Falana, Rason Cutie, they were out there. Check their backgrounds. These people were established lawyers having what they do. See, let me say this to you. NGOs and CSOs, what do they do? Let me start by giving you that definition. Non-governmental organizations. They are non-governmental in the sense that they do public services, assisting the government to cover up some gaps. There are certain things the government may not be able to achieve. So individuals and groups, as volunteers, they now take that spot for government, meaning they are doing it in true service to humanity, not expecting to be rewarded handsomely. But because they have bills to pay, school fees, house rent, food must be on the table for the family. They survive on stipend. You understand them? They call it stipend, right? It's like somebody paying your professional fee and somebody giving you a honorarium. You understand what I'm saying? Sorry, I'm on live TV. Stop a little. Now stipend is what they are supposed to survive on, right? Now that stipend means you receive ₦1 billion. Now you do not have access to that money, let alone squandering the money. The reason being that there is a board that regulates your spending. Now, organizations like CLO would have some people who are on salary from the grants and other donor funds they receive, they pay them. You understand what I'm trying to say?
Absolutely.
They spend much of the money doing everything for which the money was given. That was there in those days. Nowadays, what you have is a CSO or an NGO where the two people who came together to create this organization, they could even be man and wife, are the people who control the money, take the decisions, and they are the signatories to the accounts. So if they have a grant, these people get real money. For example, MacArthur Foundation give them $1 million grant. That money is going to that man and wife. What they do is that they spend that money, they buy big cars. If they are living in Abuja, they will go to Asokoro. I am telling you, hardly you can find an executive director of a frontline CSO and NGO who lives in Abuja and the person is around Uwa. They don't live there. They don't live in Yanya or Maraba. They don't live in the other place they call Ube or Airport Road. If they don't live in Guzape, they will come to the very heart of Asokoro. You know why? There is no regulation. They are not accountable to anyone. You understand what I'm saying? Even when they try to come with the idea of SCUMO, what does that do for you? To ensure that you have your money sent to you and you use the official means to get it in. That is where it ends. Some of these NGOs have multiple ways they can even put it as system. So what I'm saying is this: until we go back to the way it used to be, where people were really doing the work because they were serving humanity. That was how and why I used the first word I started with, selfless, in quotes. Coming to serve. You saw what happened to Ganifani and others, how they serve. Olisa Agbakoba, how they serve. Agbakoba, they were doing their own thing and were still contributors to the fund. Are you getting what I'm saying?
Exactly.
What I'm saying? The ones you have today collect only without giving, most of them. Most, not all. You still have some few of us who are still very committed and dedicated. And if you want to really do it better the way I do my own, let me tell you the way I do my own.
Okay.
I have the money I spent because I invest in social enterprises.
Okay. Comrade, I'm afraid we need to take a short break now. And when we return, we will talk about the positives in the CSOs, because I know that there are positives. And we'll also look at the laws. Do we need to tinker with the laws, registering them, and other things like that? We'll be back. Insight will be back in a moment. Please don't go away.
Nation of our dream. Citizen FM, Citizen FM. Your problem is my problem and my joy is your joy. Citizen FM, Citizen FM. Make we join our hearts to build a nation of our dream. Citizen FM, Citizen FM. Yeah. Your problem is my problem and my joy is your joy. Citizen FM, Citizen FM. Shake it. Citizen FM, Citizen FM.
Citizens Tech Talk with Mina, bringing you news updates on digital technology around us, discussing the latest development and how technology can enrich you and make your life more exciting. Citizens Tech Talk with Mina. Welcome to our world of technology. Every Wednesday, 11 a.m. to 12. Citizens Tech Talk with Mina, expanding our global reach through technology.
I say get out of my house. How we no get out? He go hard you. If you make a 10 slap me, something go scatter in the Walk-a ram shingambe nikaye duela me duega ataviwe
Angbanev de yeren kwaya shingampagachi do me sit my miongo hin ate utiv sha itioki Citizen FM 93.7 gadioka shin owan Angbanev kwa ngwankwa machi henen kwachi ama chotom ihemion danza akwa aha ate utichi kati wase sha itioki Citizen FM ate utichi tichi
Welcome to Super Citizen at Sunset on Citizen FM 93.7. This is the fun-packed radio show you heard about. Did you miss any one of our programming today? Join me, Diddy, from the Citizen Pot when we run through our programs from sunrise. Stay abreast, get informed on news roundup. It even gets better. Do you think you know Nigeria? Answer 3 questions correctly and be one of our daily winners on Quizzes. It is the full package. Let's take you back, way back on African vibes. Let's celebrate the African people, the rich cultures across borders, the languages, the good food, and wealth of excellence on African vibes. Join me every Monday to Friday, 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. It is on Citizen FM 93.7
Abuja, let's talk about it on our favorite radio station. Talk to us on 93.7 Citizen FM.
Thank you for staying tuned. It's still Insight on Citizen FM 93.7. My name is Lawrence Umotte, and we're discussing the civil society organizations, the non-governmental organizations, and other civil organizations in Nigeria. We're looking at those days that we remember, and we used to say what exactly is happening now. And my guest is Comrade Kennedy Iyere. He is a national convener, Civil Society Committee for Anti-Fraud Election Security. He's been helping us in the last 25 minutes or thereabouts to look at the issue. Yes, you can join the discussion by joining our live stream on YouTube. Type in Insight on Citizen FM 93.7. You can also listen to us online on www.citizenfm.ng. You can also follow us on our social media platforms on Facebook at Citizen FM Abuja, on Instagram at Citizen FM 937, and also on Twitter at Citizen FM 937. The phone line is open. You can call us on 0818 2222205. Yes, that's 0818 2222205. You can also send us a WhatsApp message on that number, and we will, be glad to respond, and especially our guests. Just let us know where you're writing in from. Comrade Iyere, thank you for standing by.
Thank you.
Yes, let's go back to the issue of regulation. You know, over the years, there's been several attempts at regulating the activities of the CSOs, apart from the formal regulation of registration and things. Monitoring and all these things, it's always been controversial. Do you think it's time to revisit that?
Yes, there is a need to revisit. If you do not revisit that, we can just be here talking and then nothing different will happen. We need to revisit that because lots of money come into the NGO system, the CSO system, the social sector, unregulated, and it's bad. If the CSOs are corrupt, who defends the common man? That's a question I have for you. And for whoever that is listening to us now, CSOs, civil society organization. A civil society organization is a CSO. You can call they can also be referred to as civil society groups. That means they are the people that defend the rights of the civil society, that speak for the civil society. Anything that the government will not do well, they are the people who should stand to correct the government. They are the people who should speak for those who cannot speak for themselves, the voice of the voiceless, the defender of the defenseless. So in a situation where their positions are compromised, what do you have? Like what we have today in Nigeria. Things just go wrong. We watch those things go wrong. And the civil society are becoming helpless towards those things because they are not in the best position to say things about them. For example, I'm very sorry to say, like the cashless issue that happened during the election. You remember?
Yeah. Go on.
Right?
Go on.
After the torture and the pains, we are now back to using the same old notes. The things we were told is that the court later reversed some certain things. Somebody should be made to pay for all of those inconveniences. And when necessary, people need to be compensated because during that period, a lot of people lost their businesses. The civil society should be the one to take up fights like that. But you know what they do nowadays? Once they see money cannot come out of those sources, they are not interested. That's the truth. They are not interested. Civil society organizations actually exist to make sure that things are done right in the society.
Okay.
And where people now perpetuate pretense, insincerity, and fraud in that sector, what do you have? It means everything is left open. So anything can come and go. That is what we have in Nigeria.
Okay, comrade. Let's move on from the issue of corruption. Let's look at other challenges in that industry. What are the other challenges that may maybe hinder the operations of these civil societies these days?
Well, when you talk of challenges that hinder, are you talking about effectiveness? Or?
Yes.
Effectiveness, that's it. Let's say the system where you have the community existing of the CSOs of the NGOs. Now we talk about corruption. Corruption is because the system of platform is not regulated. So if the society actually wants the activities and the services of the CSOs to exist and actually exist to favor the people, the first thing they should do is to create a platform by which or through which the activities will be regulated. And those platforms should not be regulated or controlled exclusively by government. Are you following what I'm trying to say?
Okay.
Yes, because if you allow government to be the one regulating, they will pocket the CSOs. Like they have already pocketed them now.
So who will do the regulation?
If the government can bring that initiative up But the selection of those that will be the regulatory or supervisory committee should be across board. It should be from the different segments of the society, the church, the traditional institution, the youths, the students, the women group, the professional groups too, like NBA, like FIDA, like NMA, like NUJ, such that the operation of that committee will not be subjected to the government. Once you have that, then you will have an NGO that is very effective. If you really want to tackle anything that has created the setbacks, such as we suffer today, what I just recommended should be the right thing to be done. Then Nigeria will start getting it right. Then these NGOs, in their sincerity, will have a lot of funding to actually do what they should do. The people they serve who benefit from the services they provide will finance them in bits, but by the time you accumulate, it's enough for them to do what they should be doing. That's the way to go.
All right, if you're just joining us, it's Insights on Citizen FM 93.7. We about 9 minutes to go, and Insight today has been talking about the CSOs, operations of the CSOs, challenges of the CSOs, and every other thing that has been happening around that industry. And our guest is a member of that constituency, Comrade Kennedy Iyare. He is the national convener, Civil Society Committee for Anti-Fraud Election Security. You can still call us on 0818 2222205. We can take one or two calls. 0818 2222205, and you can just let us know where you're. If you want to send a WhatsApp message, you can do that on that same number, and just let us know where you're writing in from. And our social media platforms are still there. You can interact with us there too, on Facebook at Citizen FM Abuja, on Instagram at Citizen FM 937, and also on Twitter Citizen FM 937. Comrade, we are gradually winding down. Now, let's look at the relationship between the CSOs. Okay, before we even get to this, the pictures that we've painted in the last 30 minutes or thereabout might not be a complete representation of what the CSOs in Nigeria are. I'm sure there are very good CSOs with credible personalities who have impacted the society. How do we now isolate these groups from the general ones that have been tainted by corruption?
Okay, I'll say this first now. I am a CSO leader, you know that.
Yes.
Now, this is how I feel it should be done, the way some of us operate. And like I'm saying to you, I've been monitoring elections. Observing elections, doing many things. I have not collected one grant, any for it. The reason is because I'm not in need of it.
Okay, are you saying that if you are given a grant, you will reject it?
If I have access to sources of grant, I'm a grant expert. The type of grant I work to bring in, there are grants that come in the form of development aid.
Okay.
So I don't do grant program that I bring the money and I have to spend the money on myself and on people, because some people somewhere overseas. No, I don't do that. I run a lot of social enterprises. For your information, I run one of the largest cooperative networks in Africa for farmers and value chain investment. Those are the type of NGO grants I deal with. What I'm trying to talk now, because I run those chains of businesses we call social enterprises, I make enough money from my investment. My investment finances, my investment finance my programs and activities.
Okay.
So what I'm trying to say is that you have a lot of NGOs and CSOs working for the right, existing for the right reason, providing services to humanity in favor of the people who actually need those services.
Mm-hmm.
But some of these organizations are not known. The reason why they are not known is because they don't have the resources to project themselves to the top in terms of media publicity.
Mm.
You understand?
Mm.
And then a lot of them too, because of their sincerity, they have been marginalized by some people who should have been giving them the resources they need for operation. You understand what I'm saying? I can tell you today that not all CSO leaders or NGO leaders you can call and say, okay, I have 10 million to give to you, go and make that protest in my favor. The moment they know what you're asking them to do is the wrong thing, they will never do it. They don't have the resources, they don't even have a robust office, but they are standing in defense of what they know they exist for, because their conscience has actually compelled them to do it that way. So I am saying that there are still over 7,000 prophets that have not bowed to Baal. I hope you understand where I lifted that from the Bible.
Yes.
You understand? When Elijah was saying he was going to die because he was the only good prophet, and God sent a message to him that, look, you have over 7,000 that are doing what you are doing. You have good NGOs, credible NGOs, social NGOs, but the moment they are not known is because you don't have a regulatory committee. If you have that, all these ones that are fake, you hear their names everywhere, we go under, and the real ones will come up because they will be rendering the true services that the people need, those things that will help reconstruct our country. But I really sincerely want to believe that the fraud in the NGO sector should stop. To make it stop, I'm also making an appeal that grantors should look into supporting more of those programs that will create jobs for our youths, de-radicalize them, things that focus on agricultural, ICT, anything that can support entrepreneurship, and not elections. Not elections. That's my first recommendation. Because a lot of these people have big grants, and what they do, paperwork, election. Where are we? And when things go wrong, they are not able to come out and take charge and take responsibility. No. The truth of the matter is that the Nigerian civil society, the NGOs and the CSOs are the reasons why we have come to the place where we are today, where the civil society are defenseless. The corruption in the sector, the insincerity in the sector. Today, people want to make big money. They just open an NGO. Even the rich people still use NGOs to collect money. It shouldn't be so.
All right. Thank you so much, Comrade. We have to leave it at that. Thank you so much, Comrade Kennedy Iyari, National Convener, Civil Society Committee for Anti-Fraud Election Security. It's always a delight listening to you and having you as a guest on Insight. Thank you so much.
Thank you, my brother.
Thank you.
Good to be here. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Yes, so that's our package on Insight today. The program returns tomorrow for a final edition for the week. My name is Lawrence Umotte. Enjoy the rest of your day as you stay and listen to news on the hour in the next 5 minutes or thereabout.